First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
It's almost like the school lunch table because we assume certain roles in our friendship dynamic, and Joy has gotten so good at just doing like the synopsis that my default is to be like, I'm gonna sit back right now. I'm gonna let Joy do this.
I didn't realize have I been railroading? I'm sorry.
No, you're good at it. No. And then what happens is Sophia's really, really good at ad reads and doing like the emotional work, like the therapy work. And I'm the one that does the bump. Maybe that's true of every friendship.
Chandler Bing.
Yeah, we've got our jobs. So, whose job is synopsis? Somebody bring us in.
I think you should step out of your comfort
Hilarie,
zone, Hilarie.
I agree. I think you got to do it. Tell the people what they win
Too
today.
much pressure. You guys, we fucking cried this episode after
multiple times.
The last few episodes have been real stinkers, and so was not expecting this.
Yeah.
Season 3, episode 12, I've Got Dreams to Remember. It was January 25th, 2006 when this aired, and the synopsis is, everyone is thinking of their future after meeting with Tree Hill High's guidance counselor. Brooke finds out the real reason why Rachel submitted her to Rogue Vogue. Keith is unfazed by Dan's attempt to rattle him and asked Karen out on a date. And then Nathan's feeling the pressure of his basketball dreams while Lucas takes center court and gets the attention of a college scout. Whew. Seriously,
There's a lot to cover.
Wept.
You know what I love? I really liked this episode.
Yeah.
I liked seeing people get what they need. Mm-hmm. Everybody sort of got a little bit of what they needed. And even Brooke, when you were feeling super vulnerable and like scared of leaving high school and all that, like getting this, having an adult listen to your fears and being able to talk about those things to a grown up who is a safe space, which is just awesome, and have those fears validated. And it's scary. Peyton getting, and Brooke also being able to get what she needs with Rachel and still finding a way to stick up for herself. That was so great. Peyton getting what she needs from Ellie. That beautiful. I mean, we'll hit all these moments in depth, but Haley and Nathan getting what they need with each other, and the acknowledgement and willingness to sacrifice for each other, and the bridge back to each other. Nathan getting what he needs and learning how to step up and be a leader and put the team first. Lucas getting what he needs and recognizing that he's probably not going to go to college for basketball, and it's in the ball, pardon the pun, balls in his court to pass the baton to Nathan. And Keith and Karen getting what they need, and Dan gets a real good taste of his own medicine. It's everybody gets what they need. I love it.
That's a great way to put it. It is. At the end of this episode, we were all like, who directed this? And this director is a guy named Stuart Gillard. How do we want to say his last name? That double L. Stuart Gillard.
Well, there's no U, so I think it's Gillard.
Gillard. Canadian director. And when I looked up his credits, I was like, I know this guy. Joy, you and I geeked out so hard on this man because he directed like 5 episodes of Avonlea, right?
That's right.
You guys notice, like, we're obsessed with Anna Green Gables. We're obsessed with Anne of Avonlea.
Megan
we're obsessed
follows.
With that old series Avonlea, which is like a very Canadian, old-timey TV show that we loved as kids. And we kept kind of noticing in this episode all these tiny little moments that meant so much. And it's very reminiscent of a show like Avonlea, where you don't have like big, huge things going on. It took place in like the 1800s,
Yeah.
The little things are kind of the only thing that matter. And so to have a director like that come in and make a meal out of those tender little moments, Loved it.
It reminded me of that's why I was saying when we were watching it, this is what people fell in love with. This is why people came back to Tree Hill every week, because they were so in love with it's the meat in between.
Yeah.
It's the moments, the tiny moments.
And especially, you said it a minute ago, Joy, when people have been struggling and they get what they need, it's a breath of fresh air.
Oh,
Yeah.
This whole episode felt like a breath of fresh air. And this incoming director, Stuart, made these gorgeous choices. The way that he interviewed all of us in tight, so that the guidance counselor, while being a great comic relief and really jumping in and being so good as a guest star, also would disappear in the moments that our characters got really vulnerable.
mm-hmm.
And you got to see people share things that they'd been scared to say out loud. And as the episode went on, it got tighter and tighter and tighter. And then we were all looking into camera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that you noticed that. I didn't see that.
Oh, I thought he made such brilliant directing choices. In addition to bringing you literally into the characters' worlds, when the Ravens were winning the championship, all the slow-mo was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
You saw everyone have a moment of, holding their breath in anticipation and then joy, and us over with all the, the three of us with the cheerleaders, and Mouse and Gigi, screaming, and Keith and Karen, a pom-pom went flying and popcorn went by in slow-mo, and then they kissed
that
each
shot
other.
of Lucas under the basket when he's coming down from making that winning shot.
And he makes it, and everyone grabs him, and then he's just being carried, and you thought he was going to have a heart attack, and he didn't. Like every moment. Oh my God, it was so good, and
we
for
needed
y'all,
this.
We needed it. And
We
for
needed this.
Yeah,
Yes,
honestly, the three of us. What a palate cleanser.
The audience needed it because the last 4 or 5 episodes, it's been a little rocky, and we've had so many guest directors and people coming in and trying new styles, and sometimes it kind of takes away from the original, meat of what we're trying to do, and there's just so many kind of fuzzy things that I feel like this nailed it. The audience, everybody in the show got what they needed, and the audience got what we needed. We needed this moment of rah rah, cheer, yes, it's all gonna work out, and the emotion.
It felt like a small town in this episode. So much of what our show builds into is there's always this kind of escalation into either big city or richer kids or, the more mentality. And this was a small town episode. You're back in this old timey gym that we all fell in love with.
I love that gym.
Love
when
that
Keith
gym.
picks Karen up for the date, and the three of us were
Yeah.
you guys don't understand. Wilmington sidewalks at night have a very specific sound and smell and sense memory.
Temperature and
Which one of you said it? You were like, I can smell it.
I did.
Yeah. So
I
the
can
leaves.
smell it. Yeah. And that really low hanging humidity. You get this mixture of salt water and magnolia and gardenia and old leaves because the seasons are changing. And it's all mixed together. You can't tell if it's the most beautiful smell or the strangest smell, but to us it
the
smells
best.
like
Smells
home.
like a ghost.
There is no place more romantic to me than the South. Take Paris, you can have Paris. I want the South. It is so romantic. There's literally bugs flying around that light up the sky like they're little fairies flying around everywhere in the summer. It's unbelievable.
Well,
and the heat and you're just oh, it's so sexy. I love it.
And I think especially for the three of us, that's where we came of age.
Yeah.
We talk about movies and television and these classic coming of age stories. That's what One Tree Hill is. And Wilmington was our coming of age story together. And here we are. It makes me so emotional. We say this all the time when we go out and we speak, we're the love story, you guys. And I'm having this deeply nostalgic, Stuart really brought us back.
Oh my
this
God.
deeply nostalgic feeling about us three coming of age together on those sidewalks, late at night,
Like I
running
can
around town.
literally hear the click of our boot heels.
Yep.
Like, you know how there's that echo? Yeah. We all had our high-heeled boots, and I can, there's just, there's an intimacy to this small town feel that we got in this episode. I missed it.
Yeah. There's a quietness too to those streets, even on the busy days, the Riverwalk stuff. And when we would be out, even when we were doing burning boat stuff, or if you just go out downtown, you're walking around, there's something that there's always around any corner. There is an intimacy and a quiet that you could find just tucking into any small corner that you can't find in New York City. You can't quite find it in LA. There's always some, I don't know, it's a small town thing. It's really unique to small towns, knowing that you can find it. And you hit it on the head too, Hilarie, the wonder. Yeah. There's magic in the air. There's wonder around every corner. It's not all been blown out to where people are jaded and it's like, whatever. There's still magic. It still feels fun.
Well, to have a smaller basketball crowd too, like that smaller gym really set a tone. And, we saw it in the last episode and it was so gross and the boys are cleaning it up and it just kind of felt like a device. And it was like, oh, we got kicked out of our normal gym to film. So we're going to go make up this story. Having fewer extras, being able to really decorate the place, but have those decorations set against a backdrop of decay. When you grow up in a small town that doesn't have resources and you see that decay every day, and then you're having these conversations with 17-year-old kids about what is your future going to be. I really appreciated that not all of our characters were like, oh, we're going to college,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can I afford it?
What a
Where will I
luxury
land?
to be able to go to college. And it's not a reality for every kid. But on TV, like a lot of the other teen dramas, it was just kind of a given. Like, we're all going to go to college. Not us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that really resonated, I don't know, with me and, growing up sort of middle, lower class. And I think there's just so many people that resonate with that sense of not everything is secure, not everything is certain out there. And we're all just kind of struggling by. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think it is nice to see everyone not be so confident all the time. We've talked a lot about how there was this sort of over-indexing on our show of success. Everybody became something huge.
The best is something.
Yeah. It's really nice to see people just say, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I loved, especially for a character like Brooke, who, was one of the quote unquote rich kids at school.
You're so good in this episode.
I loved seeing behind the curtain. Thank you. I'm like, wait, I should learn to take a compliment. We were talking about that while we were watching the episode. I loved being able to, through her, peek behind the curtain and say, this person who looks like they have it all together is alone, has no one to talk to, doesn't know if she's good at anything, doesn't know if she's going to end up anywhere. Whether it's outward projection or an observer's expectation or your own fear, nobody really knows what's accurate. And so watching Peyton say, I don't know if I'm going to go to school. Watching Haley say, well, what matters more to me, my individual dreams or my partnership? Having Brooke be afraid that she may not amount to anything once she leaves high school. These were all windows into these people, and it feels more real. And yeah, Joy, you're right. When you think about how you grew up, like my mom went to trade school. She was a dental hygienist. There wasn't a degree available to everyone, even a generation behind ours. And the reality is there wasn't a degree available to everyone in our generation. And there certainly isn't a degree available to everybody now. And I appreciate the representation.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I was going with it, is that Brooke represents a demographic that does exist. There's no shame in being wealthy. There's no shame in growing up that way. That is a demographic of people who grow up that way, but it doesn't take away the humanity and the things that we struggle with. And that's what I love Brooke representing, is that she's still just a girl standing in front of a high school wondering if she'll survive when
Will
it's
she have
over.
a future? I'm just a girl standing in front of my college counselor asking, is anyone ever going to love me?
Oh my God. In the most fabulous little Argyle sweater. Your outfit this episode was so fucking cute. Guys, the early 2000s were redeemable. Okay.
There
was
real
some
cute.
good stuff. I mean,
loved
look,
that
all the
outfit.
kids are wearing it now. I mean, now it's ironic, but they're
Children.
still wearing it
God bless
because
them.
it's cute
Listen.
and flattering.
Clueless made an impact, not just on us, but on generations to come. Thank you, Alicia
right.
Silverstone.
That's right.
I love it. I love it so much. But like you mentioned our guest actress, Donna Cooper, who played the school counselor. What like a huge job. You know? She's got to scaffold this entire storyline and also be someone trustworthy in the course of like one episode. Why we didn't have her all the time, who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Wouldn't that have been nice? God.
Well, to see Brooke open up to someone, to see an
Yeah.
adult that's able to
Yeah.
get in there with the kids in a meaningful way.
She would have been a great series regular, actually. It would have been so nice to see. I mean, I guess Whitey sort of served that purpose, but he's so much older than us. And, you know, I love the wisdom that he offers, but also there's an element of just, there's always going to be a
Misdirect. Yeah.
misconnection there with someone with that big of an age difference. And man, it would have been really nice.
She was awesome. She was great. I mean, the idea that these meetings were such a big deal. Do you guys remember your counselor meetings?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Do you? You don't remember?
Not really.
It wasn't a big deal?
Well, I think I was one of those like turbo kids that had it so planned out. I was just like, I don't need you to ask me questions. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to New York. I've been saying it since I was 11. Like, we don't need to talk about it.
Got it.
And so this kind of idea that like, oh, we're going to have these big meetings with a counselor so you're telling me it's real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It happens. I mean, I definitely had one. I was going to go to RADA, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. I was like, that was my dream school forever. I'm getting the hell out of here and going to London. That was my plan.
You sound like Gus.
Years.
Gus is like,
I mean, that's
America. This is stupid. Get out of here.
That's right. Yeah, I felt that way for sure. I just wanted to get to London. That's all I ever wanted to do. It was like, I'm going to go do theater and British TV and like costume dramas, and I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
And then, so I had begun filling out my application. I was like halfway through, and I had been talking with my guidance counselor about it, and my grades weren't awesome, but I'm also an actor. So
Right.
I think they, you know, and I had like a long history of work behind me. And
As long
so
as you
I
can
felt
read,
like,
kid.
exactly. My grades in history and English were really good. RADA probably doesn't care about math. So thank God. Yeah. So I got really close, and I was ready to submit. And then I got the guiding light, and it was a 2-year series regular job. And I knew I obviously couldn't do both. And, so I just chose the job. I was like, well, if I could start working straight out of school, why don't I just do that? And then if that job ends and I don't get more work, well, then I'll go to school because RADA's still going to be there. But then, you know, I kept working. So my dream school is still sitting out there. Maybe I'll go when I'm like 60, guys.
This is what I'm saying. Sophia,
Can
yes.
I do that?
Let's
You guys,
do this.
I love this because, Hill, similarly to you, I had a plan in high school, and I was doing all this crazy community service work my senior year in high school, and I just had no free time. That was like when I probably started overscheduling myself, and I'm still trying to unlearn that trapping lesson. And
Ye
I,
of 27 jobs.
who, me? And so I really had a plan, and it was like, this is what I'm doing on, you know, every day till the end of the year. And USC was my top choice because I knew I wanted to be in school but also be acting. And the counselor meeting that was the most impactful for me, which was weirdly mirrored in this episode, I went to USC for the BFA theater program. You know, I did the audition, and it's like a really big deal. You're coming to get a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and they accept 14 students on audition per year and blah. And I got there, and I was like, I hate this. All we do all day is like sit around in an empty black box theater and we do scenes, and then people go, well, why'd you make that choice? And I was like, aren't you supposed to not like, I feel like making actors self-conscious about their choices rather than perhaps like teaching you to be malleable, to be able to make dramatically different choices ever more quickly. Like maybe plan B should be the plan. And I was like, I don't think I like this. And I transferred into the journalism school. So I was doing a theater minor and I was doing a major in journalism. And I was like, it was resonating for me. It was telling real stories about real people and their real life experiences. And that was where, plays, television scripts, film scripts, and being a good, truthful actor met for me. It was in the balance of those classes. And I was gearing up for my senior year at USC. I was the philanthropy chair. I was doing all these things. Everything felt like a big deal, very much like Brooke Davis being like, it's my last chance to take my team to nationals. What am I going to do?
Brooke Davis.
And I was supposed to test for One Tree Hill. I booked this, the callback happened, and then Joy, we saw each other, and then we were going in for the final test. And I knew that if I signed the test deal and I booked it, I'd have to move in 2 weeks. And I was like, but it is my senior year in college. And I went to see my advisor in USC Annenberg School of Journalism, Annie Mateen. Shout out to Annie. Aww. And sweet Annie, this like lovely woman who I'd never heard raise her voice or swear at anyone. When I explained to her the conundrum I was having of like, this is my one senior year in college of my life, looked at me and went, are you out of your fucking mind? And I was like, what? And she just said, you've been working for years for this. Mm-hmm. You can always come back to college. You will not always get this opportunity. So go.
Oh, God bless Annie. We got you.
God bless Annie, right? And so I thought to myself, much like you did, I mean, these shows about high school, how long could they last? 2, 3, maybe 4 years? I'll go, and then I'll go do my senior year in college. And then I turned 30 right after we wrapped, and I was like, I don't think I'm ever going back. But I want to.
But you guys,
the point is that I really want to.
We've only got a chunk of time.
Let's go.
Where we're watching episodes of this show. Like eventually, in a couple years, we'll run out of One Tree Hill episodes. Then do we just go to college together since we didn't get college years on One Tree Hill?
Is there any other answer but yes?
Yeah, drama queens, go to college.
Okay, by the way, you guys won't be surprised, but I had my favorite professor from the USC Annenberg School of Journalism, Professor Christopher Smith, come on as a guest on Work in Progress. And I interviewed him about, what he remembered and how he teaches kids to analyze the world around them and all of it. He's a perfect person. And I said to him, I was like, Professor Smith, I want to come back. Like, could we do a specialized final year of study? Like, would you be my sponsor professor? And he was like, absolutely. So if you guys want to go to USC, we can go.
Girl, all I'm saying is if Kim Kardashian can go to law school and pass the bar, I'm pretty sure.
Zoom. Oh my gosh.
We can do this. I appreciate that about her. She made school accessible again, like in your 30s and 40s.
I love it.
I'm all for us going to school because I liked learning. I liked that classroom environment. I think a lot of what we do feels like the kinds of debates and analysis that we were doing just about not teen drama. Like we used to talk about the Ming Dynasty in the way we talk about Tree Hill. I think we go to school and I still feel the fear that our characters felt in this episode.
We should go to UNCW.
You guys, what if we go to school and then we run a radio show on campus?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then we'll put on a benefit show and we'll make Joy/Haley perform.
Yes.
Will we be like Frasier when he started getting punked by college kids because he was on the radio at the college? You guys didn't see that episode. Never mind. I'm a Frasier nerd.
Crickets.
It's all right. Okay. Moving on to Dan's short tie.
Oh my God. Dan. Hey, you know why this episode felt so good? Because it's like the first time Dan's failing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah.
And the first time we've seen him have a feeling in many episodes. They made him, and I know we talked about this last week, they made him like such a mustache twirler villain. And in this episode, he is running into evidence of his own failures, evidence of how other people are loved in ways he isn't. He's suffering the accountability of his cruelty. And it is a relief. We don't want the bad guys to win.
No, that's what I was just going to say. It's like, this is why we watch stories. Like, I've been watching the Harry Potter marathon with Maria. Like, this is why, because we need to know that the good guys come out on top.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I love it. I love seeing Dan. It's not that I love seeing him suffer. I love seeing this element of justice happen where and people living in a space of freedom, like what Karen and Keith are doing. It's like, you can't get me down, man. No matter what you do to me, you can keep trying, but I'm always going to get back up.
Craig Sheffer.
Standing.
MVP of this episode.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
my
Yeah.
God. The fun he's having when he's in holding at the jail. Just
he's
like,
having a ball.
get out of here. I didn't do shit to that guy.
It's a brand new Keith.
Meanwhile, like
the way
me
he
who
triggers-
does a show about true crime, I'm like, lawyer, could you just, if you could stop
Get a lawyer.
talking right
Stop
now,
talking.
if you could please.
Yeah. Don't ever talk to the cops.
Keith.
Don't ever talk to the cops. But the way he triggers Dan to come in and show who he really is, that he's really the violent one. All these beats
When
outside
he
the
says,
school.
let's leave mom out of this. When
Oh
Dan-
my God.
He says, you son of a bitch. Yeah. No reason to bring mom into it, Danny.
Incredible. But that moment at the end, to get back
my
to
heart
where we
melted.
started, Joy. Craig Sheffer standing in the rain, looking like an old-timey movie star, just with like grown-up James Dean energy, saying,
Oh, totally.
this isn't your life, Danny.
Yeah.
I was like, I want a movie of this. I want more of this episode. I need more of these too. It was gorgeous.
He looks good in the rain. I think Craig
looks real good
Sheffer
in the
should
rain.
just always carry around rain above him, just walk around.
You know what? That opportunity right there where Keith approached Dan's car could have been a very catty line. It could have been something really snarky.
Well, he
And-
did say, I hope you have your pants on.
Well, he did, but it's not your life, Danny, is an admonishment that is gentle and sad and kind of cautionary, you know, because for how many years did Keith look in on Karen and Lucas and Dan say, shit, like, it's not your life. That's my kid. That's my ex, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Keith could have gone full asshole. And instead, he was really gentle, just like, drive away. This is not yours. After Dan has just created such havoc.
You know what I thought was so wise about it? Not just the way it was written. There are things Craig did in that first scene in the jail. He goes, police, help. Like, so sarcastic. His choices. And what you're making me realize as you talk about the way the scene happened is Craig made a choice. You could punch someone with that. Or you could like slowly gut them with it. And he slowly and gently gutted Dan with that, saying, I know how much you hate your life.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. This life is mine. And
Have a look around you, man.
like it cuts right to the center
Because
of all of us, but especially of a guy like Dan, a narcissist, a violent narcissist.
Who's
it
spending
disarms
time
him.
sitting in his car outside of, you know, this cafe, sitting and watching his
I mean, we've established
former
that Dan
family.
Scott is a stalker. Like,
Oh, yes,
100%.
If that
course,
man
of
isn't
course.
at the high school, he's
Oh
over
my
up
God.
in Karen's business, either in her kitchen or in her restaurant.
But it's just such an
Picking on high
interesting
schoolers
way
and women.
to watch essentially a duel.
Yeah.
And Keith doesn't do some big violent sword move. He just gets him right in the center of his heart. And it's quick. And it's like Dan never sees it coming. I don't know why this became a fencing movie to me all of a sudden. But
I mean, I'd watch that.
Count of Monte
I'd
Cristo.
watch the
Right?
hell out of that.
yes, I would watch the hell out of these two do more of this.
Well,
and
you
also-
can. I think if you go see Berserker, the movie that they shot in South Africa when they were like 25 years old.
Okay, wait. When we're all together,
Berserker.
when we're all together in September and we have a slumber party, that's what we have to watch.
I feel like Berserker is the choice. Yes. Also, what I liked is that Dan makes such a big deal out of, I have delivered this scout to you, Nathan. I have delivered this scout, and I've done it out of control, and I've done it out of ego, and it's the me show. Scout's here because of Dan Scott. And then in reality, what ends up happening is his brother, the kid he shit on for years. And the person who he handed the spotlight over to in this game is the person that hand delivers the scout to Nathan. It comes from a place of love and a place out of mutual respect, out of this like ego-driven place. And Dan just has to stand back and watch it. He has to watch Lucas deliver on a silver platter the meal that he thought he cooked, you know? And it's just easy
I loved
justice.
Whitey coming through with the good parenting of refusing to allow Nathan to play, even though he knew the scout was there. And even though it was, those are the moments as parents where it's really hard to do the right thing.
Girl,
And
they
so,
want
you
that
know,
iPad all the time, and we have to say no.
That's right. There's moments in life when you just have to say no, or you just have to like put your foot down and say, I'm sorry, this is the consequence for whatever you did, A, B, or C. I know it's prom, but you're grounded because blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry. I know this really sucks, but you did do this. And but people have to learn that there's consequences for their actions.
Gus got a C in English, Joy. Gus got a C in English. I don't know how, because this child is like my child, you know?
Oh, he's so smart.
Gets a C in English, and I say, you have to read books this summer. And it's like, I've taken away the iPad. He has to read a book. He's devastated. He's Nathan Scott on that bench. Okay. After we got done taping yesterday, I go and I'm sitting at my desk, and my son comes in to my office, devastated, blubbering, because he has finished Of Mice and Men, the book I assigned to him. And it was the most rewarding moment ever, because he was like, Mom, this book is crazy. And it's what Whitey experiences here. The joy of watching those Scott brothers. The joy of watching the click happen. It's the click.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it feels...
You can't do everything for them. You just have to set it up. Like, here's the parameters. I'm not in control of what happens, but here's the parameters.
Yep.
And then they showed up. They showed up for each other.
It's good. It's good. You got to go through the pain before you can appreciate the click.
Yes.
Well, I think there's something so inspiring too, thinking about the ways in which we all had to learn to be who we really truly feel like we are, to be a little less afraid, to be a little less conformist, you know, a little less blindly trusting of authority even.
yeah.
And then to, you know, to watch all of our friends kind of raising this next generation. I'm the most impressed watching my friends, watching what you both are talking about in this moment, and so many of the women in our lives be parents when they exemplify, oh no, I can't make my kid do anything, and I can't have expectations about who they are. What I can give them is rules and structure and tools to be the best versions of themselves as they grow into who they are. Because they're their own people. And it's so cool to watch, because you see the click over and over again. You see it work and you go,
Yeah.
damn, I picked really good friends. They're really good parents.
You just have to do the hard thing. That's what's hard, is doing the hard thing. But there's always a payoff, you know?
Well, and we see it with Lucas and Karen in this episode, which is really nice because, you know, she gave him the speech last episode about him spending the night at Brooke's. And she's like, look, you're almost 18. You're going to be gone next year. I can't hover, but I really need you to make smart choices. and you got to protect your heart as well as other stuff. And for him in this episode to sit down and be like, okay, we're going on a date with Keith. You look beautiful. You know, like that kind of relationship is, it's something you fight hard for, because it would have been really easy for Karen to pawn him off on camps and like, you know, and doing the things that we've talked about as parents. Like, it'd be so easy for me just to hand off responsibility to somebody else. Instead, I'm going to have those difficult conversations with you, and I'm going to listen to you, which is oftentimes the hardest part about parenting, the listening.
Oh, yeah. Just listening and not offering advice unless they ask. I mean, sometimes you have to speak up, but like a lot of times it's just the listening. Like, wow. I mean, I have ideas about that if you ever want to hear my opinion, but I'm, you know, I hear you. I'm sorry you have to go through that. That's rough. And then you're like, please ask me for my advice.
We text each other and we're like, is this the right thing to do?
You're like, I actually know the answer and I've been there, but you don't want to hear it because you don't think I know anything and it's killing me.
That's it. That's it.
It's making me nuts. Making me nuts. And so to see a mother-son relationship modeled in this like lovely, healthy way it makes me hopeful. Maybe this is why grown-ups liked our show, because they were like,
I guess
we hope this is what
It'll
happens.
happen.
I missed Deb in this episode. I would have liked to see some moments of her like trying to figure some stuff out too. But I know they only had so much time, but that would have been, what would Deb have been doing in this episode if she had been in it?
I mean, she would have been the third wheel on the Karen Keith date. That's probably why they kept her out, just to like keep that tidy, because you know.
Maybe she'd have been in therapy. She's talking to her own guidance counselor.
That would have been lovely.
What the hell to do next?
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
Do our grown-ups ever go to therapy? Any of the grown-ups in the show? I'm trying to think.
It would have been the kind of, I like that we did this as a time capsule episode, because it was like the time capsule confessional episode, you know, but it would have been really fun to do the same thing with like the kids in the guidance counselor's office and all the adults in therapy.
Yes. Right? Honestly, like, you know, Jeff went and did a rewatch of The Sopranos like during the pandemic. I think everybody did. And watching that show back as an adult with Tony Soprano in the therapist's office hit very differently than when that show aired when we were 18, 19 years old. And I'm watching
it was sort of kitschy back then.
It was just like
Lobster goes to therapy.
Yeah. Watching this grown man try to game his therapist and like work around it and then actually maybe try to do some real work was very interesting. And it would have been lovely to have that device in our show with Dan Scott having an outlet like therapy. Like Dan Scott in therapy is a whole spinoff, friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I would not want to be that man's therapist.
No, but how different would everything have been if he had had a Lorraine Bracco to be like, not today, mister.
How great was Cheryl in this episode? Cheryl Lee, oh my gosh. She made me so emotional walking. Was that her choice just to be crying at the table?
What was that about?
Beats the fuck out of me.
It wasn't scripted, I don't think.
I think Peyton asks her, are you sure you're okay?
Oh, yeah. So maybe it was.
And there's something really lovely about the fact that we didn't get into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Sometimes we just talk stuff to death. And the idea that this grown-up is at the dining room table crying, and a kid is just so in her own bubble that she's like, I mean, I guess if you say you're okay, you're okay. You know? I wouldn't have pushed a grown-up when I was a kid.
And it played because she was emotional about being proud of you. And it seems like that's genuinely where it was mostly coming from.
She's so good And I think she's so earnest in it. And all the stuff she says is just everything I ever want a grown up to say to me. And so it's so hard to watch because I'm just like, because I know it's going to get taken away. And I want it for Peyton and I want it for myself. And I'm just like, oh no. It really is the worst Band-Aid that's ever been ripped off professionally to have Cheryl Lee in our orbit and then have her go away. Because you're just like, what? One season.
Yeah, it's like, why? Please, no, don't. Not that one.
No, but she's so cool in this episode. You know, Peyton's talking to her about her girlfriend's sex life, you know?
Yeah.
And what a cool relationship. I hope that I can talk to my daughter in that way, where it's like friends with benefit. Ew. Like, you can brand it as whatever you want to brand it, kiddo, but that's just hooking
sleeping
up.
around.
Yeah, that's not really going to work for you, just so you know.
Yeah. And then she's got the wherewithal to like be like, okay, so who are you screwing around with? And you know, what's kind of interesting is that Peyton gives such a vague answer that we don't know if she's talking about Jake or if she's talking about Lucas, because she says he was my friend and there were benefits and now he's gone. And we don't really know who she's talking about. We assume she's talking about Jake. But in her storyline, in the first 3 seasons of Peyton, the person who is consistently her friend in tough moments is Lucas.
Yeah.
And so it's, again, one of these little tiny breadcrumbs. We had one either in the last episode or 2 episodes ago where Peyton's subconscious was like, should Lucas be with you and not Brooke?
Yeah.
This is another one of those breadcrumbs where it's like.
Yeah. I was wondering the same thing. I was like, is she talking about Jake or is she talking about Lucas? She didn't say a name.
Yeah. I mean, her and Jake are buddies,
nice
but not like what Ellie's saying, if you can find your best friend who is also your like lover, isn't that the fairy tale?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Ellie, man, just coming in with the 1-2 punch.
She just knows what's up every time. And, you know, it's interesting too, like, there have been so many movies, shows, books made and read and experienced that revolve around the idea of what you learn before you die. Like what you kind of are able to put in perspective when when people find out they have terminal illnesses. And Ellie really comes in like that sort of oracle.
Yeah.
She sees all of it. She's got all the perspective. You know, she's able to kind of zoom in and get really sharp in all these lessons. And I would love to know from the writers if some of that was meant to mirror, you know, the stories we've all read about, you know, this is what I learned being a hospice nurse. This is what I learned having terminal cancer. Like, we've all read those, right? And I really get that kind of energy from her and from the way she talks to you. And I think it's so beautiful. And I would just love to know how intentional that was, you know?
I want to be a mom like Ellie. Like, she's so frank. Like, I loved that cut where it's, what were you doing after high school? And it cuts to Ellie and she goes, drugs. Because I think that there's a way to be a parent that is disarming with your kids. Like, we live, you know, in New York and we go into the city all the time. And obviously we're in Washington Square Park all the time. And there's just like drugs everywhere. Everybody's smoking weed. Everybody's like skateboarding. It's an eyeful for a 12-year-old boy. And so, you know, it's like, I would like to imagine that I am more of an Ellie parent where I'm just like, what do you want to know? Like, let's walk you through it. Let's be real safe about stuff. Let's be smart about stuff.
I try and do that too, Hill.
You got to just level with them, man. They're not dumb.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
and they're hearing it at school.
Yeah. Better they hear it from us, the cool moms.
That's damn right.
Yeah, we got tattoos.
I also think it's so important to disarm some of that for your kids. Like, I know how effective that was for me. You know, my mom talking to me about being in her early 20s in Manhattan and going to Studio 54 and all the stuff she saw.
Yeah, Maureen does not seem like the kind of person that hides much.
No,
She's
your
just
mom is a party, so.
Yeah. Oh my
She
God,
is a
my
party.
mom retired is so fun. My mom came into my house, you guys, a couple of weeks ago and was like, I'm thirsty, and opened the fridge and grabbed a can. And I don't even know where these came from. Jenny, y'all know Jenny, one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Probably many of you listening at home know Jenny. And Jenny loves a can. So I think we just have them here, but it's like that like CAAN. I think they're like a weed soda.
Yeah,
And I think they came from like a PR office, and they're just here. I've never had one. That's not particularly my thing.
Do they want to be a sponsor on Drama Queens?
I mean,
Yeah, please.
we'll take it.
Send me
And
some.
my mom grabs a can, and I go, oh my God, mom. And she's like, what? And she's like opening it. And I go, there's weed in that. That's not like it's not just a ginger, whatever. And she goes, yeah, it's 2 milligrams. Looks at me like I'm a loser. And I was like, oh, I mean, okay, enjoy it. And she was like, you need to relax. You should drink one of these. And I was like, okay, lady. Quit calling me uptight. But what I will say is like, I think back, it's funny for me now at our age. I think back to being young, and my parents, because of their own experiences and their experiences in their family, were able to really clarify some things for me. Because as a kid, you learn like, drugs are bad. And what the adults do is good. And my parents were like, listen, some drugs are legal and some aren't. You know, when we were in high school, marijuana wasn't legal. Granted, it was everywhere. But my parents were like, look, there's really no difference between marijuana and tobacco. One just made so much money for corporations that they were able to make the other one illegal. They'll both fuck you up, and only one is addictive and will give you cancer. You make your decisions. Some people belabor, and I'm not, by the way, out here saying like everybody should try every drug because there's no difference. There obviously are. But my parents were like, listen,
That's the title of the episode, right?
Please make the title of the episode drugs.
All in caps. But my dad's dad, I can say this because both my dad's parents are no longer with us, but my dad's dad was an alcoholic. And my parents were very clear, like, listen, everybody drinks because it's legal. Alcohol is also a drug.
Yeah.
Like, they gave me very clear perspectives on being careful in all sorts of arenas and respecting how I felt under any version of influence I might want to try at any time as I grew up. Just because one thing's legal doesn't mean it won't put you in a dangerous situation. Figure out how you feel. And that was more illuminating for me thinking back like at Gus's age than anything else because it gave me agency to understand that I could observe things as they are, not just as someone told me they were. Not just like, it's fine to chug beers all weekend because everybody in college is doing it. I was like, I mean, I love a good beer as much as the next person, but like the people doing keg stands and beer bongs get so drunk they throw up on themselves.
Right.
And that's embarrassing.
I mean, that's the thing about freedom. You can't just there's no such thing as just do whatever you want. We have conflicting desires at all times. You want to go party and get drunk and get high. The freedom you're giving up is the freedom to think clearly and have a more, organized life, being able to function on a high level if you're going to live this other way. So you want that freedom, you're giving up this freedom. If you want the freedom to be able to do, live a life where you're coherent, you're working on yourself, you're constantly functioning on a level that is beneficial, then you have to give up the freedom to go live a life where you're constantly filling yourself up with things like drugs and alcohol. And that's something that was never, I was always a pretty good kid and I didn't I hate that term, good kid. I was a pretty safe kid in terms of
until that
drugs
champagne came along, Joy.
Baby, don't get me started, But yeah, nobody ever really talked to me about that idea of like, Well, think about what you're giving up on either end. You're going to make your decisions, like you're saying. So if you're going to make your decisions, but just think about what you're giving up on either side. There's no such thing as just total freedom. It doesn't exist.
Well, and I think something that's interesting about what you're saying is we get stuck in this false binary a lot. And, Joy, I've heard you say, like, I wish I gave myself permission to be more wild when we were in our 20s.
Yeah.
And I think...
Meanwhile, Sister Hilarie was like, well, I probably could have sobered up a little. If we'd met in the middle, we would have been unstoppable.
But that's it. Unstoppable. That's it, you guys. What I'm saying here is I think if we're more honest with each other, with our kids, if our parents had the language that, now that we're in this amazing era of mental health awareness that we have, like there could have been a little more grace for the flexible.
Yeah.
What's a good kid? Be a good person.
Exactly.
But if you want to experiment, can you do that safely? You will make mistakes that you'll wish you could take back, and you'll do some things that adults in the room might tell you were a mistake that'll be your favorite memories of your life. Yeah. Like, let's make sure.
What are the calculated risks?
Yeah, calculated risk. Like, because let me tell you what, and for our friends at home, we're pros at calculated risk now, and we're more fun than we've ever been.
Listen.
I love us so much more now than I did when we were 22, and I loved us a lot then.
Yeah, we were fun.
Exactly.
We've arrived.
Yes.
Well, in a show that is completely devoid of parenting, to have this, guest actress who's doing this arc come in and like bomb after bomb after bomb, it's just like, listen, if you're going to fool around with a boy, awesome. Make sure it's worth it. Hey, if you're going to do drugs, I did drugs. I'm here. I'm a functional person. You could do better than that. Yeah. That earnestness and that honesty, I was just so hungry for it. And I hope we continue to get more of it. Because I know, like, other parents come in. Like, Daphne comes in eventually. Joy, your mom comes back after I leave. We get it. But, like, we would only get it in little tiny doses. How nice.
We did get some parenting in this episode, though. And I loved that. We saw Karen talking with Lucas. We saw the Ellie moment. We saw Whitey doing the right thing for his boys, his team. And
I love that he took his whiskey glass and put it in the drawer and closed the drawer.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
When Nathan goes into Whitey's office after the game and is like, I know you had to do that. I just want to talk to you about scouts. Whitey has, a hard-earned glass of whiskey sitting on his desk, and rather than leave it there, which is inappropriate, he takes it and puts it in his desk drawer and just slowly closes the drawer. Like the child
I must have been looking away.
The child has already seen the glass. The child knows what is happening, and he's just like, this is a formality.
You never saw anything.
No.
Pay no attention.
No.
That's great.
Yeah.
I need some whiskey. How's your whiskey line going, Hill?
Oh,
What's
my
happening?
God, dude. So tomorrow I'm going to an event at the Beekman Boys estate because they're doing this.
Who are the Beekman Boys? Who are those guys?
The Beekman Boys.
Tell our audience.
The Beekman Boys are a couple that moved up here to the Hudson Valley years and years and years ago. They bought a goat farm. They completely employed their whole town with a line of like goat soap and like all these like fabulous boutique products. And if anyone exemplifies caring for their community and building opportunities for small towns and rural areas, it's them. And so I read their book before we bought our farm. And they were like my heroes. So tomorrow they're doing this event at their estate, and they're using MF libations as like their cocktail at the dinner. And it's so nice. I can't wait to go, and I'm going to play with baby goats, and it's going to be so fun. Drinking with the goats.
Meanwhile, I am going to a friend's house to have some drinks tonight, and I'm bringing a bottle of wine that came to me from Drink Good Wine. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
I've got a case of 6. I've been drinking the white. One of the whites is in my freezer my fridge right now.
Grant has
and I don't really drink wine.
The oranges
white wine
are like crazy.
The oranges are insane. I'm saving them. I'm saving them. Actually, that's what I'll bring tonight is an orange wine. Okay. So anyway, I'm excited about both of your family liquor companies. I just wanted to plug you guys.
Fun.
We have some listener questions. Alex wants to know, I noticed there's a wedding nearly every season. Was that intentional? That's hysterical. Was it intentional by the writers?
I mean, somebody in the art department was probably sleeping with a local florist. They're like, so when I was on the North Carolina Film Commission, that was one of the studies we did. Like, how many small businesses benefit from film in a place like Wilmington, you know? And when you look at like the catering we do for dinners and food,
many,
and things like weddings and funerals on our TV show would blow up a florist's yearly income. That was a big deal.
Yeah. Do you guys remember, speaking of those film commission research pieces, I remember after our show wrapped, and you know, again, guys, we were just like a family show. We weren't doing, you know, crazy stunts and blowing things up. I mean, very often, every once in a while we did. But you know,
sometimes
the amount of investment. They talked about how not money spent insularly on our show, like within the studio, you know, per episode, but money that filtered from our show filming in Wilmington out into the city and state. In 9 seasons, our show generated $256 million worth of investment into North Carolina. Hotels,
that's awesome.
Like hotel rooms rented, to Hilarie's point, you know, catering for second meal that came from the Chinese restaurant or from the place on Front Street. Like you know, if we were shooting a wedding that was 8 days, in 8 days, we needed 46 flower arrangements.
An 8-day wedding. And it's not just like a 4-hour wedding or like a 6-hour wedding. Yeah. It's like a 15 to 17-hour wedding.
And I think that's part of like the story that gets lost. There's this real weird narrative that's been pushed about Hollywood and film and TV. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, first of all, nobody works in Hollywood.
No one's from
Hollywood.
all
over the country.
We're all from like Joy's from Jersey.
We're all from elsewhere.
Hey.
Joy from Jersey. But we,
That's your biography, by the way, Joy. Joy from Jersey.
Can't wait. But there really is this incredible thing. Anywhere that a show or a film pops up, you create a community and you also boost a community. And so it's funny, you know, I like when people are like, why do you TV people care so much about healthcare? I'm like, because we all have healthcare because we're in a union, yo. Yeah. Like we want other people to be able to be in unions and like go to the doctor for like not $1 million a year. That's why. And I think I get really proud when we get to talk about the way that our storytelling has been able to stand up in communities like Wilmington and in states, you know, like our former home state. And we get to support all these cool small businesses and
the mom and pop shops and the clothing stores, all of it. Wait, so what was our favorite wedding though? Of all the weddings?
Ooh.
Of all the weddings, what was our favorite wedding?
I really had fun at Nathan and Haley's wedding where the car goes off the bridge because it was just so much to do.
Yeah.
And it was it's such a beautiful, we were shooting on this gorgeous property and it was like old and historic and there were so many, I don't know, everybody was there and it was a big party and everything was in a different location. So it wasn't all in one room. So we were moving from like places on the property to different places. And then there's like a car going off, the limo's going off the edge. And we had Michael Trucco with us. And there's like guys in the water trying to shoot the alligators. There was a lot going on. I liked that wedding. That was fun.
That was really
That was the one. Have I told the story yet about when I couldn't get there because I missed my flight and we had to shoot that day?
What?
We had a helicopter set up for that day. Like there were shots from a helicopter. There were like guys set up in the water. It was a huge, huge, huge day. And I was flying back from wherever I was, probably LA or Washington or something. And I was sitting in the Atlanta airport and I had my headphones on and they changed the gate and I didn't hear it. And I missed the flight and it was the last flight out.
No, you would. And
I had to be there. I had to be there at like 6:30 in the morning. So I literally, this is some real bougie shit, guys. This is the kind of stuff that actors do at the last minute because we're so scrambly.
Because you don't want to get fired.
Because you don't want to get fired and you don't want to make everybody wait, like a crew of 200 people wait for, you know, an extra 6 hours. Like it was bad. It was like the worst case scenario. And I went down to like budget rent a car and I said, because I knew I had to sleep because I had to work the whole next day.
Yeah.
And it was like my wedding day and it was craziness and I had to sleep. So I found this woman that looked trustworthy and I said, I will pay you $1,000 to drive me to Wilmington, North Carolina tonight.
And she did?
You picked a stranger.
Not even a car service. Just a lady.
I love this.
No, because it just was no time. There was no time to like find a car.
Listen, we
I don't
didn't
know.
have the internet
I was
on
also
our
like,
phones back then.
That's
No.
right. Oh, that's right. Everybody was closed. Yeah. And it was, you know, I was 21. I mean,
Oh
what did
my
I don't know,
God.
22 or whatever. So she was like, this is really weird, but I kind of trust you. And I also like, I've seen your show, so I know you're not crazy. Let me get
Oh
my
my
boyfriend
God.
and, you know, so that I'm not alone in the car with you, strange lady. And they drove me to Wilmington.
Joy, that's bananas.
Wait, guys, how do we find this woman?
Yeah,
need
we have to
her come on
find
this
her.
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. That would be amazing
Somebody
if we
has
could.
heard their friend tell this story. Like, have I
That's
ever
right,
told you
yes.
about the time I had to drive Joy Lenz? You know? Somebody.
I slept in the back seat. I woke up in Wilmington. I mean, I tried to sleep. You know,
Joy.
it's like a little scary.
Well, you got
I
some
love
rest.
this. Pre iPhones, we were so resourceful. Like,
Damn. That's why there's no excuse. When like an assistant that I hire can't figure something out, like they don't
I don't
know
wanna
how
hear
to
it.
like, I can't. I just
I don't wanna
can't.
hear
I
it.
cannot
do you
listen.
know how there
Me
was like,
neither.
yeah, I like this. Oh man, I can't wait to find this woman. I love this.
We gotta
it makes
find
that
her.
wedding so much more juicy because I know how hard you worked for it. You know, you had to be there.
We need to know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. If you're out there, call us, text us. Let's spin a
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah, I don't know how you top that.
No, we
Joy-
can't. We're done.
No. I'm just going to pay these two people. Most likely to get kidnapped is Bethany Joy Lenz. No, that's not what
I'm
came
going to
up.
get in the back seat of your car. Please don't kill me.
Most likely to
this is
crash
perfect.
a wedding.
That's great. Most likely to crash a wedding is going to be that woman who drove me from
Yeah.
Atlanta to North Carolina.
She's like, what are you guys filming today? Yeah, I'll come. Wait, no. Why are you pointing to yourself, Sophia? You crash
Because it's me.
weddings?
I've done it. Yeah.
Tell.
Years ago, oh my God, years and years ago, I can't remember. I wonder if we were still in Wilmington or maybe if it was the first year after we wrapped. I don't know. But I was in Philadephia. I was there to speak to the Girl Scouts. I gave a talk to like
cute.
5,500 young girls
Cute.
on, you know, activism and community service. Sweet little angels. This must have been right after we wrapped our show. And I was with my friend Erica, who is like a crafting maven. And she had also come to the Girl Scouts conference and like took them through crafts. We had the time of our lives with all these little kids. It was like being camp counselors again. And all I wanted was a cheesesteak. We were in Philadelphia. I was like, there is the iconic spot. I got to go. And there was like a dinner planned that, because we had a bunch of friends in town. And I was like, I got to take a detour. I got to get a cheesesteak on the way to dinner. I know that's ridiculous, but I'm doing it. And Erica was like, I'll come with you. And so we had to walk from this diner to this other restaurant we were going to. And there was this party that just looked so fun. And she was like, look at those lights. I want to get a close-up look at those. You know, she's thinking like I could build those. And we walk over and somebody kind of gives us this weird look and I don't know, let's say I'm going to use y'all's names for fun. Like, oh, are you here for Hilarie and Joy? And we were like, yeah. And she's got her phone out and she's like looking at, you know, she's trying to like sneak a picture of these cool lights that are changing colors. And she's like, let's just peek inside for 1 minute. And we go in and we realize we're at a wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, Erica, we have to go. And she's like, absolutely not. We're here. We made it in. That guy at the door is fully security. Thank God we're dressed up. And I was like, I feel very uncomfortable. And she was like,
you're
just
not
get
a rule
over
breaker,
it.
Sophia.
Yeah.
You are not a rule breaker.
No.
I am a calculated risk taker. This was not a calculated risk. This was an immediate risk. Also, not to like, say this thing that's gross, but like we've been on TV for a long time. We're not exactly inconspicuous in a crowd.
Of course.
And I'm like, Erica, and she goes, "This will be good for you. Come on." We walk. We start walking in. She's amazing. And we walk in, and like someone comes around with champagne. She's like, "Get a champagne." She's like, "Give me 5 minutes, and if you're having a miserable time, we'll leave. And either way, we'll leave in 10." And I go, "Okay."
Oh my God.
So I'm like, taking a deep breath.
I can
4
feel
minutes
your
in.
stress.
No, sweating. I'm like, my hands are so clammy telling you this story. 4 minutes into this Philadephia wedding, which by the way, ruled. Wish I'd gotten the name of the band. They were amazing. This guy with a camera comes over and goes, wanna record a video for the bride and groom? And Erica looks at me, like literally gives me the I dare you face. And I downed my champagne and went, "We sure do."
I
We
love
left
this.
a video message together for this couple we've never met, probably complimenting their lighting scheme. And then we left and went to dinner.
This is genius. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
You
So,
two
if
as
you're-
strangers. I love the impulsiveness. I love.
So if you're the person whose wedding I crashed in Philadelphia, please send us the video.
Yeah.
You guys, we have so many
Had a great
detective
time.
projects for the fan base this week. You have to find Joy's driver and Sophia's bride and groom. I
Wait.
love this.
Also, shout out to our detectives. Have you guys seen the tweets about Tyler, Elvis,
Yes.
and Chris Isaac?
Wait, what? No.
Oh, Joy, I'm going to send them to you.
I have not been on social media in so long.
I saved the tweets. People put Chris Isaac and Elvis in one of those face melder things. And the man that comes out is Tyler Hilton with black hair.
It's insane.
It is unbelievable.
Where does this send me these photos?
Girl, we are going
I
to do
don't
this
know.
right
I don't
now.
have my phone.
You guys are the
gonna
best
send it to you when
detectives
we wrap.
ever.
We love y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of all their hard work. It makes
too.
it so much easier on us.
It's incredible. You guys, you are the
gosh.
best.
Okay, so next week we have episode 13, The Wind That Blew My Heart Away. Our contest winner, Amanda, told us that this was going to be the episode that made us really happy. She didn't, she was like, wait till you get to 13. That's when you get your show back. But I really feel like 12 was a strong play
I think
this
so.
week.
Maybe she just had the numbers off. This is a good one.
This one
I
was
was really
great.
into this one.
Baby,
I liked it a lot.
baby-sized gem. All right, ladies, I love you both so much.
I love you
Love
too.
you.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.